What's more stuck as it sticks here? Your fingers or your palm?
His fingers right there.
So your fingers right there, your fingers right there are more stuck and sticking more. Try and unstick those fingers from the table, find your palm sticks even more.
Hi there, this is James Tripp. Welcome to this video, which is part 3 of the revisited handstick tutorial. We're continuing in the same vein as part 2 here, continuing going through the process, breaking down all the psychological subtleties, the maneuvers, the structure of the suggestions, these kind of things. As you watch this video, if you're interested in coming on the Hypnosis Deep Dive in Edinburgh, be aware that as this video goes out, it will be the last day to get the 25% discount. Okay, so let's continue now unpacking this hand stick.
Because you focus on that point, you can feel the table under your hand on the table.
So right here I'm saying as you focus on that point, you can feel the table under your hand on the table. So what I'm doing here is I'm going from focusing and I'm continuing to pace, something that is true. He can feel his hand on the table under his hand. Now listen to the way I say it though. Look at my gestures. All of the non-verbals are already beginning to build this certain quality of energy that's going to go along with the stuckness. I'm not there just going, you can feel your hand on the table and your table on the hand. Now if you compare this to the original handstick tutorial, I'm not going to be doing nearly as much of this kind of thing. I'm not going to be nearly as congruent in the non-verbal aspects of my communication as I am these days. So this is something that really has developed significantly across time for me, and it has made a real difference in the kind of hit rate, the level of efficacy of the work that I do. So really do pay attention to this stuff. While I'm simply pacing in some ways at this point, I'm actually leading non-verbally into the kind of vibe, the kind of energy that I want. Pacing and leading at the same time.
And as you focus and as you feel, just allow that hand to begin to sink in your mind into the table.
So here I say, as you focus, as you feel, just allow that hand to sink in your mind into the table. Now everything here has a purpose. What I'm doing is, as you focus and as you feel, this is the language of doing. I'm giving his conscious mind, if you like that model, a doing instruction. And then going into the language of happening, which is more the language of the unconscious mind. Just allow yourself to feel, allow that hand to sink in, the allowing language. So I'm changing the language from doing language into happening language. So let's also look at that piece of languaging. Just allow your hand to sink in your mind into the table. Now this piece of languaging, everything here has a purpose. First of all, we've got the allowing language, the language of happening, the language of the unconscious mind. Allow your hand to sink in your mind into the table. Now that in your mind, that's there for a reason. If I request them to allow their hand to sink into the table, there's an opportunity for the critical faculty to engage there. Well, it's not really sinking into the table, but if I say allow that hand to sink in your mind into the table, I put that piece in, and now the critical faculty can't argue so much with that, right? Because we're still on that boundary between is it happening, isn't it happening? We're just allowing that bit of flexibility, less for the critical faculty to get its teeth into. Now, I'm talking about allowing the hand to sink into the table. This into sets a direction. The language has dynamism. I'm not just saying it's stuck to the table. It's sinking into, sinking, present continuous tense, into the table. I want to set up an energy that moves and continues to move in a particular direction, because that energy moving into the table, their whole being moving into the table, is going to engender a very profound stuckness, whereas it's stuck to the surface is a more sort of superficial thing. I want to keep that energy, that focus always headed in the same direction.
To begin to sink in your mind into the table, so it just sinks into the table, all the way into the point where it just sinks and sticks here.
So here I'm continuing to emphasize the sinking into the table, and all of my non-verbals are backing that up. In fact, my non-verbals are ahead of the curve, and my language is backing up the non-verbals. I just want to set that energy, I just want to set that intent all the way in. Now I use this classic piece of hypnotic language coupling, sinking into the table to the point where it just sticks into the table. And I emphasize into the table again. I want it all the way into the table. So there's that linking pattern there to the point where X will happen to the point where Y. This is a classic piece of hypnotic language coupling.
It just sticks, sinks and sticks in. What's more stuck as it sticks in? Your fingers or your palm?
So this is a classic piece. I often don't do this piece, and I probably wouldn't have done this piece here if it wasn't a teaching situation, because my sense was looking at the hand. By the way, I would have been paying attention to the hand the whole time and looking at the rigidity in the muscles. So I knew at this point the person I was working with was responding fully. I didn't need to do this piece, but I did it because it's a kind of classic Hypnosis Without Trance piece. It's a very useful piece to know how to do. It's the piece where I say, continues to stick to the point where what's more stuck, your fingers or your palm. So this is a classic piece. It's in the original breakdown. I teach it in the Hypnosis Mastery program, so I wanted to show it here, even though actually technically it wasn't necessary. Now just look at how this works. What's more stuck, your fingers or your palm? This is a risk-free soft test. You're not saying go ahead, try and unstick it, which has got an immediate pass-fail to it. You're saying what is more stuck, your fingers or your palm? There's no pass-fail to this. Now, if you look at the language, there is a presupposition of stuckness there. The only question is, what is more stuck, the fingers or the palm? A choice needs to be made, and a choice is made. In this instance, it's the fingers, and he says it's the fingers. And when he says it's the fingers, I'm going to feed this back. Why? Because I like to work with pacing with a person's own experience, their spoken experience as well. I call this using their neuro handles, feeding it back in. That keeps the hypnotic loop, which I said we weren't going to talk about here, but it keeps it spinning. And also, once someone speaks their reality, there's the principle of commitment and consistency. This is Robert Cialdini's commitment and consistency. When they speak their reality voluntarily, they tend to, having made that commitment, become more consistent with it. So that's what's going on with this pattern, and that's why I show it here, because there's a lot of richness in this piece.
What's more stuck as it sticks in? Your fingers or your palm?
Fingers right there.
So your fingers right there are more stuck and sticking more. Try and unstick those fingers from the table, find your palm sticks even more.
So you can see what I do here. He tells me the fingers are more stuck, and I go with this, and I talk about them sticking even more. And as they stick even more, what happens when you try and unstick those fingers? Find the palm sticks even more. Now, this is a kind of a weird pattern. I call it the divide and conquer pattern in the Hypnosis Mastery program. What happens when you try and unstick those fingers, find the palm sticks even more? It's sort of split in the direction. So even if the person lifted their fingers at this point, there wouldn't be a deal breaker in terms of them suddenly having an experience that was incongruent with the reality I was describing. So this is like a sort of a no-fail pattern, if you like. It's not part of the no-fail material proper, but it's a no-fail pattern. And if the fingers do start to lift, it's a useful thing. It gives me a red flag. That's useful. That gives me information to go on. I'm not going to kind of risk my neck on something on a more vigorous challenge, so to speak. In this instance, they don't lift. They continue to remain stuck. Again, be aware, what you can't see here is I'm always monitoring non-verbal feedback, muscle tension, rigidity, these kinds of things. So this is all green flags I'm getting in this context, but the pattern is go ahead, try and unstick those fingers, find the palm lifts even more. In fact, there's something else worth pointing out there. I don't say go ahead, try and lift those fingers. I say go ahead, try and unstick those fingers, find the palm sticks even more. Try and unstick. You see, unstick. I emphasize stick. Why? Because I want all my priming, all of my seeding to be orientated towards the effect that I want to have. There's no way I'm going to say, go ahead, try and lift those fingers. I'm not going to do that. Try and unstick those fingers, find they stick even more solidly, or try and unstick the fingers, find the palm sticks more solidly. So that's some of what's going on in the languaging right here, the divide and conquer pattern. So once again, looking at the timing of this looks like a good place to pause this. We're going to be back for part 4 where we close off this breakdown. But until then, if you like this video, please do give the video the thumbs up, like the video. If you have not yet subscribed to James Tripp Chaos Wave, hit subscribe, hit that notifications bell for rich perspectives on using your mind to shape your life, hypnosis, NLP, beyond, that you will not get anywhere else. Okay, so that's the wrap on this video. I'm looking forward to seeing you again, obviously, to conclude this series in part 4.